Welcome everybody, it's Christ169 and I am back from my vacation, back from my time off. I appreciate you guys waiting, 116 of you. I love all of you. All of you guys have shared my videos a lot. I've been checking up on that. You guys have been sharing my videos and I appreciate that. And I think it's awesome what you guys have done since my absence. I was gone for a little vacation, take a little break. I'm gonna do this probably every quarter or every 6 months, take a little break and a little me time to help get my get my health in order, get my life in order, get stuff in order. We all got to take time for ourselves, right? It's not just YouTubers, it's everybody on the planet Earth. If you have any type of stressful job, and I'm not saying YouTube is stressful, but I do have a full time job, and also I hang out with friends, and YouTube is right in the middle. So you have to have some balance. A friend of mine has dropped his channel and left, and very sad, he was very good at it, but it happens to you, you get burnt out. And I think it's a good service announcement for anybody out there who wants to become a content creator like myself, or the gentleman that I'm going to mention here in a moment. Um, and really take a stand, understanding you need to take a break once in a while. Not because you're burnt out, not because you want to do it anymore, because you need time to not burning candle wake up both ends. And the old saying goes, you're burning the candle at both ends, means you're literally burning it from top to bottom to where there's nothing left. And another saying is, we're burning the midnight oil, means we're going to be up late. But that's not something that was terminology. So I'm happy to be back. I had a great Christmas. Like I said, I had a great New Year's. I went Oak Grove Gaming with friends. I won some money, had a great time, drank, met some people, friends I haven't seen in a long time. I know this video's a little long with me rambling on, but I'm going to get out of my system because I had a great time being off, and I want to do it a little more. I'm going to do it probably every quarter or so. I'm going to take a little me time at the weekend or a week, whatever, off. If I go on vacation, like from work, I won't make a video. I'll just, enjoy myself. If I do, it's because something really important came up. Not because I don't want to. Like I said, though, I changed the channel around. I renamed the channel a little bit. Now I'm still working on a header, still working on, some uploading stuff. A little problem with that with my system right now. But ain't nothing gonna cause too much problems at all. Like I said, though, it's something that has to be done. We all need breaks occasionally to refresh out my system, flush out my system, my mind, my heart, my soul, and just relax and spend time with God, spend time with family, spend time with friends, spend time have a good time. And my time well spent. I came back 2 days early. I'm gonna come back on the 6th. Like I come back today because it's a slow week, but it's important now from here. First topic in the news is Jay's 2 cents has an issue. Jay's 2 cents, a guy Jay who is the head creator, the creator of the channel. He's going through some health issues. I want you guys to keep him in your prayers. Whoever you pray to at night, that he make a good recovery, and it won't be. He thinks it's something like colon cancer or whatever, and he says he was, he was a 500-pound guy before. He was huge back then and lost a lot of weight. And he always had issues and stuff like that, health issues, and he's never really been a person. He for his video in his own words down below, I have in my who I'm following channel wise, he's down there, and he'll tell you all about it in his own words, and he'll have a better idea than I would about it. But it just kind of goes to show you that you have to self-preservate yourself sometimes. Myself, I'm a 300-pound big fat guy, and I have to really start working on. I'm 42 years old. I have to work on myself and work on who I am and get myself in shape, because I keep going down this road of just eating whatever I want and not caring about the consequences. Eventually, I have consequences. We all will. Even if you're alcoholic, you drink too much, you get a car accident, you kill somebody, you kill yourself, or you have no liver issues. If you smoke too much, you'll have lung cancer. There's many different things out there. And it's not just obesity. It's lung cancer. There's alcoholism. There's all these things out there. that cause a lot of problems. So you got to be careful. And J2 Cents touched on how he was a real big heavy guy for a long time in younger years. And he looks great. He lost a lot of weight, looks really great. But his body, I think, is he tried different things in his life, and think like he did like liposuction, and that was probably one of the catalysts problems, because that does cause issues. I've heard people who get it done. Now I'm not criticizing anybody who gets it done. If you get it done, you get it done. Um, but just keep Jay in your prayers. I think he's going through a lot right now with his family, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. His channel's still going to be up. Other people are going to take over his channel for a while because he's really tired. He No, he told one story when he was in another video. He spent 10 hours making the video. He'll go in the chair and sleep for 4 or 5 hours. His body is really tired all the time. And I think that's something that could be dealt with, probably anemic or whatever, his white blood cell, he said, count was normal. But, I'll let him explain it to you in his video. I'm subscribed to his channel down below. Go down there and watch his video. Subscribe to his channel with his friends, his co-workers, his other people who work with them and for him will be taking over the channel for a while. So just keep that in your mind when you're at church, or if you go to a religious place at all or not. To keep Jay in your mind, say a prayer, because we all need to help each other out. He's a YouTube creator who really inspired me to do a lot of review stuff and tech stuff, talk about tech. Him and gaming access people that I comment on videos about, and it really inspired me to do this as a passion, as a hobby, but still do this. Like I said, though, his life is rough sometimes, so that's something that happens. Okay. Now, the second feature of today's film or video is air cooler versus AIO. And this is, I'm not going to include custom because, I'm more of an enthusiast. If you're an enthusiast, you're not watching my channel at all. And if you are, you're probably poking fun and laughing at it. And that's fine. Anyway, I don't care. But if you are a person who knows what custom cooling is, it's tubing. It's clear tubing that you put all over your rig. That literally you have to almost snake around to get the power supply, the GPU, CPU, and even the RAM. I mean, so some of the configurations have RAMs to have a heat sink to it. I'm like, good gracious, you must be downloading or running some serious software to cause a RAM to heat up like that. But I didn't really conclude that because I know I'm not really enthusiast. No, I'm a passionate person about it, but I'm not an enthusiast at all. So I'm not gonna sit and say, well, you gotta do this, this, and this. I'm not gonna do that. Now I had an air cooler for a while, and my air cooler was a Nautica. Oh, really? What really me Nautica ND 15, and that was a big cooler. I showed you the box of it maybe about a year ago for Christmas. Two fans, it was humongous. One fan was pushed almost towards the door. You saw my slap panel. My panel's right here, and I see into the Corsair right now. I have right now in there, and it's running. It's running great. It's a little loud, but for what I'm headphones on most of the time, I only hear it anyway. But the Narco one was big, and Masters is a good brand. I think really boils down to, do you really need a air cooler or liquid cooler? AIO or custom? Let's just stick with AIO for a while. It's easier to talk about. I'm using it right now anyway. And what is the benefits of either one? I think with the first one, the benefit of an air cooler is always going to be price. Prices with air coolers have gone down a lot, but doesn't mean buying cheapy is always better. You buy a cheapy $50 one from Best Buy, and you have a 5800X3D, like I do, it has a lot of heat. My Narco one, when he took it off on Christmas, my brother-in-law and sister, to swap it out, the thermal paste was still good. It was literally heating up the thermal paste all the time I used it. And it was, and of course, they cleaned it off with alcohol and kind of stuff like that. And they cleaned it off. But yeah, you don't want a cheapy cooler with maybe two or three or four tubes. You want something at least enough. You have to pick. Okay, it makes simple. You have to pick which cooler is going to be better for your CPU. Okay, if you can go air, you want to go not with the latest and greatest $300. You can get a $300 to $400 one, but more like, let's say, the latest one. You might go with a $100 one or $200 one for a $200 $300 CPU that has a lot of heat. So you have to put in consideration what you're really getting into and what you're really doing, because you don't want to get something that is, a three tube, cheap jobby from Best Buy or Bargain City. I'm just saying Bargain City for a reason, of a bargain world, you know. And you go home, put it in there, and and your thermals are just going off the chart. Your TPU thermals are just it's like a fire breaking out in your CPU is catching fire practically, and your CPU and your CPU cooler is running fast as it can, and it's cooling it, but it has so much backlog. It's like taking a bottle of soda, you fill it with water, and turning it over. That's a bad analogy, but it's draining out. Well, if you spin it around a little bit, almost like a whirlpool, it drains faster. So think about that analogy. If you take a bottle of soda and tip it over, yes, this is going to clunk, clunk, clunk come out. But if you take it around and spin it around like a tornado, you'll see it flow faster. It's always wind in the gravity. Wind is always going to win out. Enough power to take the heat off the CPU. So having a good cooler is a good idea. So I think air cooling is good for if your case. My case, air cooler I had was pretty big, bulky. It had no room for any more RAM slots. It almost touched the GPU. Now I can see now I can see GeForce RTX on it. Couldn't see that beforehand. Um, but that being said, though, that's something is air coolers, and I might get one that's really big for my case. If you do like a micro case, and AIO is much going standard. You can get a Corsair one I got, I think single fan, probably for 150, maybe $90 if you can get it on deal on Amazon or whatever, and do it that way. And because the micro ones, you want to have enough way to get the heat out. Because micro PCs, and I mean all cases, so all cases are going to determine. That's what I said about your cases and stuff. Determine which case you're going to get for your CPU choice, because your cooler is going to have to fit somewhere and punch it to get it to fit in there. You can't do that. You can't do like you're packing your bag, you take your clothes and you punch it in there to get it in there. You can't punch your cooler, to fit it into the CPU. No, 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 don't do that. Um, but if you know you can get an AIO for a decent price, a friend has an old one that he has for a year or two, and you take the risk, you can use that. But I would probably get a brand new one, because the brand new wear and tear, it's all good and go. It's all good to go. Nothing wrong with that at all. But not saying that you cannot sit there and take that stuff and use a air cooler for something that might require AIO. You do what you want. It's your money. When I got that Antarctica one last year, it was good. Now they wanted to give me an AIO last year, but they did not know how I'd be able to use it, if I understand it, because it's going from an air cool to AIO is different. Is different. It is more difficult because you can have leaks, so to speak. But if you go on air, just make sure your case can fit it. Because my case was big, but that AIO Narca one I reviewed last year was humongous. Not the AIO, but the air cooler, the Narca and NHD 15. This one here, and the one I did a quick review on Christmas night, super chilled. IQ 150 HI 300 a millimeter liquid cooler or internal AIO. That there is a mouthful, and it how just rolls off the tongue when you say it. But that right, kind of shows the difference between the coolers. You really have to understand. Okay, do I want an air cooler? Yeah, that's gonna be cheaper, by far cheaper. Or do I want an AIO that has a lot of cables? Mine has a lot of cable to plug into the motherboards. So installation is not always easy on AIOs. So the winner in that one is air. Cost, once again, cheaper with air. But here is the performance. Here's the $64 million question. Meat and potatoes. Here's a whole buffet. The point being, you can get 3 to 5% better cooling with an AIO than you can with an air cooler. Because air cooler has to circulate the air from the CPU and the GPU. If your ventilation is not perfect for whatever reason, it has to keep circling around, and your back exhaust fan is working itself tirelessly to clean out to get the air moving. And that's where I think if you have 3 fans or more, like I do, on the front, intake fans, you're a lot better off having that. But mine AIO is mounted from the top, so it exhausts into the atmosphere. So the air comes in, so it has circulation. But AIOs are more expensive. They can be. Yeah, you get, like I said, you get some cheap jobby at the bargain city computer place and slap it in there, and it may work fine. But like I say, you always have to know your CPU. Like me, I'm a 5800X 3D. I can't overclock it, but it runs warm. Um, my burn long sister told me about it. To take my fingers and put it on the tube, lightly on the tube, see if pressure's going up, then pressure's going back down. So it's very simple to maintain. To leave it alone, it works magical. Yay, Jack, spirit fingers. That being said, though, I still watch it to make sure it's not, pissing out liquid all over the GPU. But Corsair, this has a 5-year warranty. Most of them will last 3 to 5 years without any problem. After that, you might hear a trickling sound, almost like a water tank. That's probably the water level, the coolant level getting low. Oxygen bubbles usually go up, so have it in an up design keeps oxygen up. If you're putting it in the front of your case, put the tubes down so the bubbles go up and be caught in the top of the chamber, so the fluid can still go around. You don't want to have it where it's on the bottom facing down like this, because then the AIO's up here, pumps up here, it's going to just trickle in around and go back into the pump and pretty much suffocate. Gaming Nexus, once again, another person I'm subscribed to, channel I to, had done a video with Jay's 2 cents, 2 different videos, talking about how Gaming Nexus, cut holes, about a couple years old, cut holes into an old AIO and put clear plastic in there to show you and sealed it up and showed you what it looks like when you have oxygen bubble in there, and where at the pump where the water or fluid doesn't come in as clear and better, as doesn't flow as fluent, and it shows you what happens if you have the oxygen bubble or the air bubble on top of the radiator, and the pump's just because they had a clear part for the pump area and for the both sides, so it showed you the pump was getting the fluid in and just pumping through it. So I think with that kind of information and that kind of knowledge doing with this, anybody out there can become somewhat of a PC beginner and understanding, somewhat of enthusiast. Where you can okay, well I want AIO because I listen to my name Mark, by the way, Mark and J2 Cents and Gaming Nexus and this person over here too as well. And I research this stuff, and you have a better idea what to get into. What's better? Both of them have pros and cons. The pros and cons of an air cooler is fans might burn out, but you can always replace them unless it gets discontinued, like my Ram 6 did, and then that's a big gigantic story. But you can always find fans for it, obviously. The big problem with the AIO is it could leak. It's guaranteed not to, but everything has leaks. It can perforate through the line. It can have leaks. Things happen. So there's pros and cons in everything. Now, your investment in your gaming rig is probably the most important investment that you will ever have outside of a house like I own, a car I own, and stuff like that. You might have, a condo. You might have an apartment. You might not. You might live in your parents' basement. You might live in a room with parents. You might have different arrangements, for your living quarters, and that's fine. But not everybody has the perfect life where they can go out and spend hundreds of dollars every year to replace parts. But then that course here is if the thing just started leaking all over my stuff, if this AIO just failed all of a sudden, they would compensate me buying me a brand new motherboard, GPU, RAM sticks. They'll probably upgrade me somewhat with one of those, what's available, obviously, and compensate me in a way that would, do that. And they're very good. Customer service is very good. Now, if the pump failed, I can send it back. They'll send me a new one, no questions asked. My brother-in-law and sister tell me the Corsair is really good when it comes to customer service. They're really good with helping. So Corsair, if you buy, a Nautica or Corsair Air One, if they have an Air One available, you might have a good time with those. I recommend the Nautica NHD15 because I've used it for over a year. I will recommend Corsair when I do get full use out of it. When I do get close to 6 months, a year out of it, I will recommend it. But I think right now it's running good. There's no issues, no problems that I know of. It's doing its job. It's just, it's just taking the fluid and moving it around to cool it down. Room gets a little warmer, but not as much as it did when I had the Nautica D and D15. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on who you are. Like I said, guys, this video here is my welcome back. In closing, either one of them is fine. Just make sure one's not a cheapy one that falls apart and breaks on both sides of the spectrum, and you'll be fine. Like I said, guys, keep J2 Cents in your prayers. Keep his family in your prayers, and I'll see you guys later. I probably will not make a video on Saturday. I may make one. I don't know for sure, but I'm back, and it feels good to be back. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching Crisis Media Productions. Have a good day.